Hello, this is Heather Gates, and I welcome you to the Stand in the And podcast, where we have honest conversations about the messy complexity of the human experience, where we get stuck, and how we find forward, in the and of it all where many things are true at once. This podcast is designed especially for those of us who want to make things more beautiful and better for everyone, and sometimes need reminding that we are human too. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to episode 1, y'all. It has been a long time coming. I'm excited. I'm really nervous also to be here with everybody today. And this first episode is extra special. So this one's going to feel a little bit different than the norm. I have a very special guest joining me today. One of my favorite conversationalists, my son Nash. Say hey.
Hey.
Say hey to the people.
Hey, people. Good to be here.
We don't know what to call y'all yet, our audience. So
We've decided it's not the y'alls.
I think it could be the y'alls or the Anders.
I think it's either of those.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll see.
So we're still working on it. Is there anything you want to say more about who you are?
I'm her kid. I'm the one that's going to get a matching and tattoo, so I feel about as well equipped for this conversation as one can.
A committed Ander.
Yeah.
Where are you situated in life? Like, how old are you? What's your
I
deal?
am 17. I'm going to be a senior in high school. I am looking to go into public health, just like Mom. She has given me a lot of good connections that I'm exploring, and I have a paid internship right now with some great people at the Western North Carolina Health Network. And it's summer break, so I'm about to head down to the beach and go party.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's not what I thought was about to happen.
I'm going to go fish and sit in the sun.
Do teenagery things. Well, I'm very grateful. This is quite a full circle moment for me, as you know, to have you with me today. I've told you I'm not going to cry on this podcast, so I'll be brief about this.
I've said you're good to cry. It happens.
Oh, y'all, I have been talking about doing this for at least 5 years, if not more than that.
Since we've been having this conversation
for
since
a very
I was
long
in probably
time.
6th grade.
So to be here with you today, and not even like beyond the podcast. So I accidentally built a business 18 years ago, trying to stand in the and of you with you, really. Right? Like trying to figure out how to maintain what I care and love about my work, about trying to figure out how to be a mom, and patching all that together. So to fast forward to 18 years, and here we are sitting together in my office, in the business, doing this just feels...
it's very full circle.
Yeah, it feels...
I'm working with the people you used to.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. It's so Andy. So we'll do it. Let's do a check-in, like what ands you're standing in today. So I've already said I'm excited to be here. I would say nervous, but to me, the energy of excited and nervous kind of feel the same. So I have a lot of energy about today.
Yeah.
And I feel so grateful.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, grateful. Not everybody else knows yet, but it's just been a lot of work for me to get up the courage calluses. You hear my voice crack, even to say that. I don't think people would expect it, but as somebody who presents a lot and speaks a lot and works a lot with people, I have a lot of fear around this, around sharing my voice, specifically around kind of having voice in a way that we're now going to launch out.
I was about to say it's more permanent now.
And let people judge. So I've held this big fire for this and fear for this together at the same time. And the scales are tilted enough more towards the fire than the fear. And it's taken a lot of really intentional, this, you've heard me practicing saying things,
just for
having
background.
To listen to myself talk.
She has been talking about and I'm not going to say practicing podcast episodes, but recording herself talk to get more comfortable since I was in middle school and she was waiting to pick me up in the car.
In the car rider line, yeah. Recording myself. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that we won't get into all the details there about.
But yeah, this is
Yeah.
A good point, a good
it's
marker.
the moment. And it's so sweet that you are the person that is here. So what and are you standing in today as you join?
Well, I'm glad we're finally doing it. So that my positive and the reason I want to be here is because we've been having this conversation for half a decade. And
That makes me sound like
I've
get it
grown up.
together.
No, but like
It's been a minute.
it's been a minute. Took a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
And I've grown up listening to you talk about the and talking about the and to you. I talk about the and to other people. Whoop whoop. And
And
I'm ready to get on the road and get to the beach.
yeah, I feel you. And we're going to try to settle into this conversation.
Yeah, no, we're going to do this and
hold the energy of all of it. So like I said, this one will be a different. So what I imagine for the podcast as we move forward is it's conversations with guests around the tensions that they're holding and the tools that they use to manage them in a context where many things can be true at the same time. So a lot more conversational, inviting folks on different types. But I know that today more you imagine that you are interviewing me about this.
I've been told. I'm good. We can just chat.
Okay.
We don't have to ask questions.
Let's get started because I do want, especially since this is episode 1, it's more like feels like episode 0, you know?
This feels like lying out to anybody who's listening what you're going to be talking about. And
you said lying out. I was like, I hope that's not what we're about to do.
no.
Yes.
Laying out.
Yeah. About what the point of this is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the backstory, I feel like, the prereq about what this is trying to be about. So let me turn it over to, I don't surrender well. So I'm standing in the and of vulnerability by wanting to be in control of this. So what questions do you have for me?
All right. So your podcast is called Stand in the And.
Yeah.
You preach a lot in both your work and your personal life about embracing the and. What does that mean to you? Where did that come from?
So just the and part. When I say now, embrace the and y'all, I think I'm going to learn as much from this podcast as I feel like I know coming into it. So I want to say that. I'm not coming at this with, I have all the answers and I have it figured out and I want to now tell everyone. I am insatiably curious about this place, this messiness that is the human experience. The and to me reflects and means and honors that many things can be true at the same time. I find that to be the case inside of us and among us. I can be excited and nervous. I can be grateful to be here and really want to be at the beach. All of that can be true at the same time. So when I say embrace the and, I think it's an honor, embrace that humans are complex. I think it feels so important. And I too am like, why am I still talking about this? Because, I talk about a lot of things and sometimes I get tired of it and it moves on. But this one is stuck around. And I think that's part of what's drawing me to this is I can't stop talking about it. I think because it feels so counter to maybe what we normally hear about. Are you this or are you this? And it feels so true to me over and over and over that it's so often a both and reality. So I want to shine a light on that. I think it helps normalize the experience that we're all having to tell the truth about the complexity of our feelings, our experiences, our behaviors, our context, all of it. So when I say embrace the and too, part of that is that honoring those things sometimes there's tension among them. Right? Sometimes we're trying to live into values that sometimes feel like they conflict with each other, or it feels hard, and it feels like you want to try to pick one to relieve some of that tension. So it's a bit of an invitation. So the embrace, when I say embrace the and, it's a bit of an invitation and a permission to hold all that energy. That it's okay, we can handle it. Like the human capacity is big enough. I know it feels ick and sticky, and I'm working on this all the time. Part I think I started talking about this when I was in a previous leadership position. We've joked some about the journey that we've been on together and raising,
Yeah.
being a mom and all that time. But I was in such a place, so probably rooted in perfectionism. I talk all the time about being a recovering perfectionist. So I operated for a very long time in this sort of perfectionist mindset of, right, you're amazing or shitty. There's like a right way to do it, and there's everything else. A very much kind of right, wrong, good, bad. Am I a good mom or not? And so often the reality, especially I think when I was trying to juggle leadership and parenting and all of that, I felt not good enough at everything if I wasn't, because you can't be perfect at everything because perfection is not real.
Yeah.
So I came into this real dissonant, like feeling in my own way and anxiety and all the things that get churned up when you feel like you're being held to a standard that doesn't exist. I don't remember the initial kind of opening around this, but this insight then developed of what if it was possible that even if I wasn't perfect at everything at work and perfect at everything at home, that I could be a good mom and still not have remembered to pack you a lunch or accidentally sent prunes to elementary school for snack.
That wasn't me. That was the other one.
Yeah, sorry about that, sister. So this considering another way, part of perhaps healing my own tendency of perfectionism and kind of the anxiety and stuff that comes up with that. So I think starting with more that, and can I let more than one thing? So that's a situation, and we'll talk a lot more about this today and beyond today and the months ahead. But we get stuck in the and in a number of ways. And in that case, I was kind of stuck on the outside of the and. I was stuck not seeing that many things could be true, right? So you're seeing one part. And typically I find that we see the less generous part, right?
Yeah, you'll see the bad, but
you see the bad, right? But you get stuck on the bad to go, and what if this also is true about me as a mom, along with I forgot the thing.
Yeah.
So expands it. Then sometimes we're in an and we know we're getting squeezed. We know we're getting squeezed because we want to hold empathy and accountability, and it feels impossible and not really sure how to manage all that. So I think it shows up in different ways, kind of we're on the outside or the inside, but we get stuck in it or outside of it if we don't honor that. So that's where kind of the original birth, I guess, story of the and for me is in my own leadership experience and my own kind of meeting of leadership in life and needing a broader frame to step into as a counter somewhat to perfectionism. And then over time, it's turned into a lot of different things. I think as a facilitator, when I'm in group settings, it's also about embracing the and of different opinions than ours, or embracing different perspectives on a situation. There's a lot of complexity, and I find as somebody who works in complexity and with humans my whole career, our tendency is to want to really oversimplify because it's easier. So embrace it as like, let it be a little messy and a little hard. And there's a specific story about where stand in the and came from, but I don't know if that's for now, if you want to ask something else.
Go for it. Where did stand in the and come from?
Stand in the and came from, so we already have in the and like swirling around in my head and in our house and everywhere, and symbols everywhere. Like that's the precursor.
Big painted ampersands in our hallway.
No, so this is where this ampersand comes. So the story starts with, we just talk about the and a lot, and then it's COVID. So in COVID, in the context of COVID, where I'd been doing client work and then pretty immediately felt sidelined because the work I was doing wasn't the most important. I felt lots of uncertainty and not sure what to do. I had some experience. I didn't know how to use it. In that, I just felt this kind of churn of I don't know what to do. At the time, reread, it's actually a book that Oprah wrote, and somewhere there's something in there where the guidance that she was getting or given at the time was to just stand. So I was reading that, just stand, and out of me comes in the and. And I took that pretty literally as like been my directive for how I was going to navigate that tricky moment. I was like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm going to just stand in the and of this, which is I'm just going to show up. Because stand for me, I think it's really important. It's not literally, for the purposes of this podcast, I don't mean it's actually stand, right? Not everybody can stand. So it's more about the showing up. Y'all will learn. I will do a lot of things to try to pump myself up to align with my intentions. So with that inner sort of guide and compass to keep showing up, just stand in the and of this, stand in the and of the uncertainty and the complexity with my family, with my clients. I, as you just mentioned, bought the largest canvas that Michael's will sell and painted a giant and sign.
A couple of them.
Well, this was in the beginning. This is the early story.
Okay,
Before the obsession got fueled more, I painted a giant and sign and ordered a standing desk. Because this is a point where I was on, right?
I didn't realize that's for the standing desk.
Right. I did in-person work, and now all of a sudden everything's on Zoom. So I said, I'm going to put a giant and sign behind me so that every time I'm on a Zoom call, I have to look at it. Right? Because in the screen that you see of yourself, you see, and I bought a standing desk. I said, I'm literally going to stand in the and to remind myself that that is my intention. That's where the standing desk came from that I still use today. Anybody who's met with me knows that I still have this giant and sign behind me. Yeah. And it is where I still continue. I mean, I think I was in therapy yesterday talking about this and probably getting ready for this podcast to show up in what is, for me, usually some really heart-forward intention to do something. And it always comes with I'm often showing up with a pretty solid side of fear. So yeah, I think stand in the and dates back in those paintings. And yes, there's now another one in our house, and there are a couple other people around town who have them. And we now have stickers that say stand in the and we're going to start selling mugs. So I feel really strongly about it. And we'll talk more, I'm sure, about that. But that's the origin story.
The backstory.
That's why there's so many and paintings in our house.
So we know where it comes from and what it means to you. You've listed a couple examples of how you personally show up in the and, which we can loop back to later. Mm-hmm. But why do you want to share this with people, and why a podcast specifically? Why don't you just want to go give seminars on it? Why don't you go, we talked briefly in the past about doing a TED Talk on the and.
Okay, so why do I want to talk about it?
We'll start there.
And then why the podcast? I don't know that I have the answers to all of your questions.
It's okay.
Why does this get me so pumped up? I think, and we'll see what the podcast reveals about what else is true, I feel so passionately about people who show up in the world with their whole hearts and minds trying to make things better or more beautiful for people. Capturing all the energy possible in service to that thing. And what I know to be true is we can get real stuck in the and if we don't see it. Right? It's like happening and we can be spinny in it. And my hope, and this is of theory, hypothesis, I never get that right. My curiosity is it helpful to talk about it? I find it helpful to name it, because then you can say, this is why I'm feeling this way. I'm stuck in this. What are the things? You can get curious about it differently. Maybe it's that I've learned so much about how to get unstuck myself that I want to help share some of that. I also think because it's a place that I get stuck, I want to talk to other people and learn about their tools. It just feels, and when I'm talking, I know it resonates with people. I know I just said and like 50 times.
I was going to point it out.
And.
It's kind of the whole point of it.
All right.
It's everywhere. You can't escape it.
It's everywhere. And I think part of it's y'all's fault. Part of what fuels me is when I talk to people about the and, it resonates. Like, Like we all know the feeling that it feels like when you're stretched across things or when you're trying to figure it out. And I know the power of feeling seen. And to the extent that talking about this kind of complexity helps people feel seen, and then how we talk, not just about acknowledging it, but how we navigate it, what are the tools we use to navigate it, can help people feel supported. You know, I love people pretty much more than anything. And if
you ask what her favorite animal is, she will say humans.
it's for real.
No,
I really
I'm not saying it's not a valid answer,
love
but it is your
people.
answer.
And y'all, I just want you to flourish deep in my bones. I believe in people. I believe in the potential for people. I believe in our potential for when we come together to do things. So anything I can figure out to help us talk about how to get unstuck on our way to do that, I'm here for it. So we'll see. Why podcast?
I feel like it just makes sense. I mean, it's
I don't know. I think it will be fun. Okay, point one, I love talking to people.
truth.
So when you love people and you love talking to people, it seems like it would be just so fun to get together with people that I know and admire or am curious about and have conversations about this thing that I'm curious about. It's an interesting platform. I think it also, there's a lot of autonomy. We can put out there what we want to and what we don't. So that feels helpful. It feels like a conversation, which I like. I like this way of podcast versus just me talking because I like the interaction of it.
You're just having a conversation with a big metal thing in front of your face.
Oh, right. It feels totally natural. I wear headphones all the time for work anyway. Yeah. And there is a piece of it, I'm sure, that for me is podcast because it terrifies me.
Because it's scary.
Because it's scary. Because I talk about the and. I mean, in all of my facilitations in the beginning, we now talk about embracing the end. So I've talked about this in like 2 actual people in real life.
For years.
But there's something scary to me about having my voice recorded, perhaps because it means I'm going to have to listen to it or hear it, and I've had judgment about that. So there's something about this platform specifically that is a little scary, and I tend to not want to be confined by my fear. So it's a little bit of step toward fear. And just the sharing. I don't have any content. Not that let me say that differently. I get feedback now in the work that I do. This feels a little more personal. So I'm about to get perhaps feedback on kind of the most honest version of myself that I can conjure up and feel comfortable with, and that just feels vulnerable and a little bit scary. And yeah, so I don't really know.
That's a good answer. I mean, because it scares you. You're pushing a comfort zone.
Well, a lot of there's some magic alchemy to me in the place, and I think I said this maybe in the beginning, of where my curiosity and excitement about it with a dash of it scares me is a place where I continue to push and get curious, because I find every time that I face toward what scares me, I learn something about myself, and it changes me. Because we're not really talking about the kind of fear that is, I'm actually in danger, right? We have to know the difference. Fear is important. It's an important teacher. And there's a different kind of fear. Maybe it's anxiety. I may be using the wrong words.
I think they're so intertwined, you can't separate them.
Well, but it's like this sort of fake fear, or some of it's true, right? There is risk for sharing truth in particular, and it varies. But anyway,
I think that calling it a fake fear isn't maybe the right choice of words, because it is your fear. It can't be fake because it's so unique to each individual's experience. So that's your fear. It's not a fake fear. You may say it's not necessarily a valid thing to be afraid of, because the worst that happens is you listen to it and you don't post it. I mean, or someone.
I can go down. Listen,
no,
I can go 0 to crack the universe in 2 seconds about all the ways that
we can go. Someone
bad.
Listens to your voice and the world explodes. But And
Nice.
we can
Yeah.
appreciate like you were saying, I mean, it's a podcast. You're able to put out what you want to put out.
So yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you for the reflection and the acknowledgement that my fear is real. So I appreciate that feeling seen. I really do sit here today primarily in a place of real readiness. So, and that feels exciting to me. Again, it's like the lean in to do this, and the different person that I am today that can do it and hear my voice, and we're going to launch it, and we're going to invite people, and to let it feel interesting and joyful, because uncertainty, so much I think of what we're often afraid of is the uncertainty, right? It's the what is going to happen. And often, right, I'm nerdy enough to say words and not right, probably get them all right, but like we have a negativity bias usually, so it keeps us alive.
Yeah.
So typically our brain's going to fill in the gaps of the story in a negative way. Like, we have uncertainty, and now what are all the bad things that happen? Rarely is anybody on autopilot to go, oh, there's uncertainty. What are all the amazing things that might happen in that space? Right?
That's fair.
So I actually sit out of a lot of intentional work. I sit here with you right now going, what might happen?
What's the awesome thing that's going to happen?
What's the awesome
from
thing?
This
podcast? What new cool people are out there that I'm going to meet because of this? What new insight, what new understanding am I going to have about myself? Who are we going to help feel seen? Who's going to think differently about something? And how might that open up? Right? There's a lot that could happen that's pretty awesome. So that's when I say sometimes we get stuck on the outside of the and, is when we're only seeing that one side. So I'm excited to sit here in a mostly, kind of, I'm hopeful.
Just see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens.
So we spoke a little bit about. We're gonna change gears for a second. We spoke a little bit about, or you spoke a little bit about. You said a previous leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
We've stated that you have your own business, but the y'alls listening don't really know what that is. So what is your, not position of authority, or what gives you, I'm not going to say what gives you the right to speak on the end, because everyone experiences it. But
yeah.
What do you do that makes you so people-y? Like, how do you interact with people on a daily basis in your job? So what is your job? How do you people in that? And what gives you, why do you feel that you have the authority to talk about the and? Is it just through experiencing so much of it?
So why me?
Yeah, why you? After we state what you do.
What is my job?
What's your job?
Gosh, anybody out there who has a job that's hard to explain, like I hope you're feeling right now. So I would say that I am a strategy partner and facilitator. And I help leaders and teams build connection and strategy and complexity. And you'll go, what did you actually just say? What do you really do? I coach leaders. So I work with leaders one-on-one. I work with teams within organizations. I work with multi-agency partnerships. I help people get unstuck so that they can create, I sometimes help them create a path forward to the vision that they have, either for themselves, for their community, for their organization. But I'm often in a place of trying to help people find forward. Often call myself a strategy doula, right? I'm here to help them kind of gather the insights and share the thoughts and have the ideas. I'm not the consultant type that's going to come in and tell you what to do. I approach it as, people are the experts in their own context and their experience, and I'm here to help be a support alongside that. So my job is to work with people, and in a business, so in the health lane. So I work exclusively in public health, community health, and well-being. So I'm working with organizations who have people in their mission, which means every step of their ecosystem is people. Right? All businesses, like if you're making tractors, you have a team, but you're eventually making a product. I work with people who work with people who work with people who help people. it's people at every step. I mean, formally, I have degrees in biomedical science and in public health. I don't think that's what credentials me to talk about this.
They didn't talk about the and.
I don't think that they talked about the and when I was in school, perhaps. Yeah, I don't come at this from a place of feeling like, because there certainly are people, researchers, who do work on paradox and human emotion. I'm not a researcher. I'm not studying this aside from in a very in-person working with people way. So I would say, as far as what qualifies me, I feel like I'm in a job interview. What makes you the candidate?
Why are you the best candidate?
Why are you the best? Y'all, I don't know that I am. I just know that this idea will not go away inside of me, and I feel 9 months pregnant with it. So we're going to try to birth it and see what happens. I do have a lot of connectivity to curiosity. I think curiosity. I have a lot of curiosity about this, and I am I'm a convener for my role. So I really want this podcast a bit to feel like a gathering. We're convening a conversation, which is what I do. And I'm coming at it with the same sort of ground rules and kind of container that I would in a group, right? We're humans, not robots. We're going to embrace the and. We're not going to dehumanize, these things that I think create the structure to have honest conversations. So we'll see.
I think a lot of what gives you the authority or position to speak on this is the answer to your answer to my first question of those last two, the what do you do, and how much of that is human-centered.
Yeah.
I mean, your human-centered strategy
is the business.
That's the business.
Yeah.
You are a people person, and I feel like a lot of the and is just acknowledging that everyone's story is a little bit their own, not a little bit their own, a lot their own,
mm-hmm.
and a little bit similar to everyone else's story.
Yeah. We're the same in that we're all different.
Yeah. Which it's very cliche. We've heard it a million times from the books about caterpillars and the fish who gives away all his shiny scales, but it's such a deeply ingrained human characteristic that I feel like it's easy to overlook it unless your job and your life is around people. So someone who's, like you said, the tractor salesman. We need the tractor salesman to plant our blueberries, but
I think you need him to sell you tractors.
Correct.
Not plant your blueberries.
Well, we need the tractors from the tractor salesman to plant.
Not to pick.
The point is, you are better equipped to have this conversation than the tractor salesman, and maybe not. Maybe the tractor salesman has more of the tractor salesman has a different outlook due to his typical clientele. But
yeah, I think it's more like it's more about what you're really excited about. So maybe it's that. It feels kind of itchy to me to try to want to compare myself to anybody else and be more qualified or not. I'll just say I'm excited about it and I'm passionate about it. And I think it's interesting to talk about. And hopefully that feels interesting for other people to want to, hear about too. So I think it's that. And I mean, truly, I've spent my entire career being curious about people. So in my undergraduate work, it was in biomedical science. It was more around like the micro level of understanding. I think, very curious about how humans work. Maybe it's like about me. What are we doing? How does all this work?
On the outside and the inside.
On the outside and the inside, the facts and feels, all of it. I'm so curious about humans and how it works. So I have been curious about that for, what's the math on that? How old am I? 47? I don't know. 20, 30 years?
Yeah, something.
So that curiosity collects things, right? Collects theories and understandings and leads you to more curiosity. Yeah, I don't know. I care a lot and I'm excited about it.
I don't know.
And I'm willing.
After she gives the very detailed explanation.
I'm willing. I'm just saying, I don't think there's an answer. I think it feels restrictive. And I think part of actually what keeps people from doing things like this is that very question. Like the nanyas that I hear in my head this morning when I told you I was like having sweaty pits about this was, who are you to do this? Who cares? Who are you to do this? And so that's why part of me is like, I don't know, but I'm doing it.
Let's talk about that. Who cares? So you're recording your voice and putting it out to whoever wants to listen to it.
Yeah.
What is the goal? Obviously, we have spoken about how the goal of all of this, and you feel that your goal, just period, is to better the human experience for as many people as possible, in as many ways as possible, whatever that looks like. This podcast specifically, how do you envision the podcast? Are people going to listen to this and realize that there is an and that they should or can embrace it themselves? Are they going to, I
don't know. That's where we'll just see, right? So that's the uncertainty of it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think the part of the why of it is I want to and I want to try and I want to see. And there are certain points where you can't think your way to the answer, right? I can no longer like dry erase board, whiteboard out like what might happen or that at a certain point you have to try things and do things. Right? When you meet the edge of uncertainty past what you can predict or know, like some things are not knowable.
You just got to put the voice out there and see what happens.
So I have some ideas, just like we talked about a second ago about how it could go poorly and how maybe it'll be helpful, but you can't really know.
Well, give us a couple ideas. How could it be awesome? We know that the universe can explode, obviously, if we do this wrong. If we click the wrong buttons, the sun's going to crash into us.
We accidentally launch it and
sure,
get all that stuff.
But what is the awesome possibility?
Yeah, and again, I think we talked some about this earlier, but I hope that our conversations around the and will help someone feel seen in the complexity that they are experiencing and haven't really heard spoken to directly. So somebody feels seen. They feel a little lighter, right? So instead of spending all that energy going, oh, I feel this way. What's wrong with me? I'm feeling this and this. What's wrong with me? It must mean I'm a bad leader. It must mean I'm a bad mom. Like if I can pause that whole spiral. Do you remember when you were little and I talked to you about not adding suck to the suck sandwich?
Yeah.
I want to keep the suck sandwich as small as possible and not add all those other layers if we can name it and understand it and then figure out how to deal with that versus like, yeah, like I just said, what's wrong? Why am I da? All the feels we add about our feels or the things we add about the situation. So if we can help liberate some of that energy so that you can now use that to navigate your complex situation and then like go forth and make things and do strategy that helps people. Some of it is I'm going to conserve some of that energy that I'm wasting thinking something's wrong with me or wrong with this context or broken about this instead of saying it's and it's true and it's all true and it gets to all be true. So it's a bit of like release of some stuff is one example that I would give. And another maybe would be that we get differently curious about a stuck spot and maybe see a solution, right? Maybe you're on a team and something feels sticky or tricky and you're like, well, is it this or is it this? And then somewhere in the and creates this new possibility or path forward that was even cooler, right, than you can imagine. So that we help by language and by tool sharing, help people feel a little lighter, help people feel seen, perhaps craft some paths forward that they'd not considered. But I hope we hear about it.
Help them feel human.
Yeah. Well, why is that helpful?
I'll put, before we talk about why that's helpful.
Okay.
Something that I don't think we've explicitly said in the last 40 minutes, but.
Has it been 40 minutes?
I know, it's 1:35 already. We started, 57? About 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know how long these are supposed to be. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Feedback welcome.
I've got one more.
Okay. So we'll tie it up, and then I do want to talk about a little bit about what next and how people can find us and that stuff.
Something you frequently talk about to me and people in the world. Maybe the internet hasn't heard you say it yet, but
for sure the internet doesn't hear from me.
You are a human, not a robot.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about something wrong with me, I don't know about good. I mean, everyone's going to view this differently, but nothing's going to be wrong with you because there's not a way to be right. You are so, just by existing, you're in your own right and your own wrong at the same time.
That we're all
Yeah,
right, is what you're saying.
and it's important to acknowledge that, and not that you don't have a blueprint to follow. There's not a human experience guidebook that says this is the right choice to make, this is the right path to go down. Take this fork, not that fork.
Yes. Agree. And what we know is true, that all of us, depending on a lot of factors, kind of who and where, in what context you're born into the world, I do feel like we inherit these like invisible and silent blueprints about what the path is supposed to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, here's what mothering should look like. Here's what business success looks like. Here's what and yes, like, who really built that and is in service to you? Probably not, if it's not your map. So I'm with you that there's not, how can you be wrong if you also can't really be right? But we certainly are taught in culture. Welcome back.
We just cut
to Stand in the End podcast, episode 1.1. So Nash and I, as you know, are doing this podcast and finished it, and then realized that about 15 minutes of it was not recorded. So we are standing in the and. How are you feeling? What and are you sitting with right now?
That was a good part of the conversation. So I feel like we can turn it into another episode, though, because that was talking about blueprints and expectations. I think that's got to be its own thing.
Okay.
To give it justice.
So we had a little quick check-in here and decided, let's just, I certainly, with the energy required to dig deep to do this, am sitting with a fair amount of disappointment that the really good conversation that we just had there at the end was not captured, and I clearly has escaped my brain about what it even was. So I'm going to sit with disappointment and commitment, because I need no excuses for this not to happen. And easily could go, didn't work. We tried. I'm brave. And it didn't work out. Anyway, shelve it and start over. But I really want us to close this out. So we're not really sure where we've left off in this. I think we have a sense of it. So I think we just clean slate, start with your final question and just pretend we're doing this for the first time. I don't want us to feel like we're trying to recreate a conversation. Okay. We'll just let it be new.
The final question is, how do you show up in your life embracing the and? Do you intentionally try to exist in a state of embracing complexity, or does it just come with your innate human experience?
And you're asking, you would think I've had practice with this, but I don't remember. You're asking like generally for people?
For you.
Okay.
Well, and people, both.
Well, let me start with the people part.
Because I feel like the answers will be very similar.
Well, I think it's an important thing maybe just to make sure my intentions are clear, that I'm not suggesting that we choose a path that is and versus something else, because I believe, and I can't wait to hear y'all tell me otherwise, that for the most part it's already true. We don't have to choose it, and we do need to choose to see it.
This is speaking about the and.
This is about the and, about whether, like, is it a complexity that, because your question was about, is this something I'm like creating or is it there already? And I'm saying, I think the and is what it is in a lot of ways. And we could actually, I would love it if you are somebody out there, y'all, who is not a neuroscientist, who could talk to us about our separate brain hemispheres, and that we have, like, part of this I think is baked in, right? We have different, pause another episode. We're going to do nerdy things. I'm not going to get down to the neuroscience of the end of things.
Not yet.
So I'll say, I believe that there are some parts of this that are just true and we have to understand and see and know about. With that, there's choosing to see them. Certainly when it comes to context and the complexity of us all, that feels different. Some of that is about what we create in our own lives. The and that I stand in, so there's the facts of it and the feels of it. Context-wise, as you have alluded to already, a business owner and a mom and
a blacksmith.
Creative and tinker with a lot of things.
I don't know how much of that got recorded or not. Have we covered this yet? Is this new material?
I like to do a lot of things. So I'm somebody who just in my life, as far as doing, I'm also a really big feeler. So I am big thinker, big feeler. So that comes with a lot of complexity and just who I am. And so I think part of this and journey has been a journey to try to make sense of myself. Yeah, I'm strong and sensitive. There's a lot, maybe feels TMI for episode number 1 for people. I don't know. We'll talk a lot more about my own ands. I think I, acknowledged I'm a Gemini, and sometimes people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't know enough about it to know what that helps me understand or not. Somebody else can come on and tell us. But I have a lot of complexity within myself. And so perhaps that's part of what guides me to be
Andy
is, I think everybody's some version of Andy. Am I kind of extra? Depends on who you.
It's all relative.
I can certainly bring some people on here who would tell you that that is true.
And you could bring on some who are.
Yeah, who knows? We're not. Yeah, it's okay.
We'll find some people.
I'm not worried about that. I don't have a lot of judgment of self, a lot of acceptance about my own complexity, and that's been a journey. I think truly there are times where I'm like, God, I just want it to feel easier.
Black and white.
I just want it to feel easier, and I'm deeply empathic, so I feel a lot, and I'm super thinky, so I'm thinking a lot. I'm taking in a lot of information. So for me to exist, I'm having to square, which creates a lot of internal conflict. I'm having to square a lot, and perhaps that situates me to be able to see that and help navigate that in other people and other teams. But I'm looking forward to digging in with our guests about it, their own ands, and then sharing some tools. Because I think it's one thing to acknowledge it. It's another to say, so what then do you do to find forward in that? We talked earlier about helping people kind of find forward from the stuck and into possibility. So how do we navigate that? And I'll share right here the tools that I'm using. What are other people using? I hope we're all learning from each other about how to human and how to flourish. I'm mostly interested in that, which I think we've said before. It's less to me, this is my one shot, not like life, not just like this podcast, but like I want to feel like
one time
when I'm done with this version of this life that I've left it all in the field. So I'm interested in really doing service to what I feel truly is a gift. So often humaning feels heavy and hard in this, and I want to navigate that and support others and be in community so we can navigate. All your tinkering around with your mic is making funny sounds.
I know. I was putting it down.
Okay. What was I talking about? Oh, humaning can be hard, and this is our chance. This is not the dress rehearsal. So I want us to flourish. I want us to stand together and work together and understand each other the best we can and accept ourselves the best we can so we can do awesome stuff, make beautiful art, build strategy that helps heal. And we have big work to do. And I hope that we can do that together. So I think we'll try to tie a bow on this and let me talk about some of the next step stuff. Does that feel good to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about contact.
Yes. So if you want to reach out to us, you can email us. And when I say us, my giant staff of me, this is Heather and Ashley. You can reach us at connect@standintheand.com. You can send your thoughts and feedback. You can send something about you would like to hear us talk about a certain and tension. And in that, I'll remind all of us that we are speaking generally about the human experience and are not going to be experts in your particular situation. So anybody seeking specific support, I hope you're reaching out to therapists and coaches and other qualified support people to get support with your individual needs. And here we can have general conversations and learn from each other about some of the tools in the toolkit that might be helpful and hopefully just help normalize that we're all trying to figure this out together. So reach out to us at connect@standintheand.com if you have ideas or feedback. What else? You can find me on LinkedIn. Is anybody on LinkedIn? Listen.
No, there's a place for it. I have a LinkedIn account.
Okay, I'm just saying. There are plenty of y'all out there on LinkedIn, even if you never post anything. I think it's helpful. I'm growing. I think we might be starting a Stand in the And Instagram account.
Stay tuned.
Maybe check it out.
You can link, when you post this, you can link the Instagram account if you do make it before you post.
See, there you go. This is why we invite the teenagers. So check I hear on podcasts, they're like, check the show notes.
Yeah, check the show notes.
So check the show notes.
Stand in the End Instagram.
And they're going to tell you where Ashley has convinced me that we need to be, that we're not, so that you can find us. And I think that's all for now.
That's all. You can tie back and do 3 episodes based on stuff we touched.
Yeah. I feel proud of us for leaning through that little hiccup.
For the second time.
For the do-over. Yeah. I mean, cheers to showing up in the mess and failing. So we're just going to...
It's not a failure.
Okay.
Well.
I'm not afraid of the word failure because I feel like I just look at it as like, well, that was a fail.
I think it was a failure on whatever made the program.
The internet.
Yeah, we hadn't touched the computer and it went out after
it just stopped.
Minutes.
So we're going to figure that out before next time.
Hopefully.
And like I was saying, maybe it got recorded and maybe it didn't today.
Maybe this.
But there is a certain point, maybe this is recording. I don't know how to tell. There's a certain point where you can think and ponder your way only so far before you have to do stuff to learn. And we are in it. So part of that standing in the end sometimes is like just showing up in the uncertainty to learn the thing that you can only learn by the showing up. And I'm very grateful for you being here today, Nashi.
Thank you for inviting me. And thank you to the listeners.
Yes, listeners.
Without a beholder, we can talk and talk and talk. But
Nash and I, trust me, and we do, can chit-chat all day about all sorts of things. What makes this so special is that you have chosen to stay with us through this little bit bumpy episode number 1. And it really does mean a lot. I'm very grateful for your curiosity. I think that curiosity and connection, we could use a lot more around us right now. It's a lot of what the And is about, is just staying curious about the complexity in ourselves and each other. So I'm grateful for the curiosity you had to stay here with us and the connection that I feel with you, even though I can't see you. So I hope you'll continue to show up with us. If this feels helpful to you, right, hold it and come back. If not, that's okay. It's not going to be for everybody. Take what feels helpful, leave what doesn't. We do look forward, hopefully, to hearing from you and having you here next time. In the meantime, stand in the and, stay curious, and see you soon.
Y'all be safe.
The Stand in the And podcast is supported by Human-Centered Strategy, where we help leaders and teams build connection and strategy and complexity so that everyone can flourish. To learn more or to work with us, please visit us online at humancenteredstrategy.com or message me on LinkedIn.